Turning to US politics now, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump is celebrating big wins in 3 states. He is looking ahead now to next Super Tuesday's contests on March 15th. Voters in Florida and 4 other states head to the polls. As you can see, polls show Trump is leading by a wide margin in Florida. He is followed by Marco Rubio, who's still hoping to eke out a win in his home state. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton is leading Sanders almost 2-1 in Florida after a significant loss to him in the Michigan primary. In Ohio, polls show Trump ahead by a narrower margin over the state's popular governor, John Kasich, while Clinton is leading over Sanders by double digits in the state. Well, let's get some perspective on the state of the race from Political Man host Jonathan Mann. Good to have you with us.
Good to be back.
Now, looking at Florida, it's a winner takes all for the Republicans, and as we can see, Trump is way ahead. Can he take that state?
It looks like he will. Not only the polls tell us he will, but by all accounts, Marco Rubio has been doing a terrible job of running in Florida. Very little advertising, not much organization on the ground. He has not gotten the endorsement of former Governor Jeb Bush. He doesn't impress the people of Florida, and even within his core constituency, you think he and Ted Cruz, they're both Cuban Americans. You'd think the Cuban American community in Florida, sizable enough, may support him. That may be true. But then again, we don't see any segment. Donald Trump seems to be, to the extent that I've seen polling that breaks down the demographics, Donald Trump seems to be winning across the board. And it may be that Cuban Americans will have a surprise for him. We'll have to wait and see.
And a major newspaper in Florida didn't endorse a candidate, but they went further by criticizing Marco Rubio. I mean, certainly that's not going to help his chances. Should he drop out of the race before the embarrassment of Florida?
Well, it's a terrible choice, because either he's going to look weak and cowardly if he won't face voters in his own state, he's still a sitting senator, or he'll look stupid if he faces the voters and, as the polls tell us, goes down in defeat. So I don't think there's a good decision either way. I think, though, his chances, if anything, might be supported by either some disaster in the Trump camp, or maybe the possibility that he stays in the race and is considered as a vice presidential candidate for Ted Cruz, as someone a contested convention turns to in desperation. They're all fairly distant possibilities, but if he suspends his campaign, if he leaves the race, he knows he's got no chance. So he may be sticking around hoping something happens. It's hard to figure out, but there is no good option for him here.
Someone suggested earlier today that Donald Trump might pick him as his running mate. That seems like a long shot.
It's not, you know, after Chris Christie came out and endorsed Donald Trump, we see strange bedfellows in this campaign, and it's hard to know, because Rubio seems to have no happy outcome here. So what will help him at this point? That may be the best chance he has.
Absolutely. Looking at the Democrats, Clinton is way ahead in the polls in Florida against Sanders. But given the upset we saw in Michigan, could Sanders close the gap?
Probably not. Here's my bold prediction. I'll tell you why, and it comes down to demographics. You think about who the Clinton coalition is. In state after state, she wins among older voters. Florida Democrats tend to be older than in other states. And in state after state, Bernie Sanders tends to win young white people. He doesn't win minorities. Florida, heavily Hispanic among the Democratic voting base. So those are 2 key groups for her. She's way ahead in the polls. She does have the demographics on her side. And demographics among the Democrats really seem to have told the story so far in the election. Bernie Sanders wins among some segments, very young people, very white people, very liberal people. Hillary Clinton wins among older people, older Democratic Party people. Another key thing, Florida will be a closed primary. If you're an independent, you can't vote. Independents got Bernie Sanders the victory in Michigan. They won't even be able to walk into the polling places in Florida.
So not looking good for him there. Clinton will be hoping that she gets this one.
You bet.
Good on you. Jonathan Mann, great to have you with us as always. Thank you.
Thanks.
And be sure to stay right here on CNN. Democrats Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are set to meet head-to-head once again. CNN will simulcast the Univision Democratic debate in Miami, Florida. That's at 2 a.m. Thursday in London or 3 a.m. in Berlin.